Now we have to understand that there is a massive gap that we are witnessing when it comes to the West as compared to a lot of institutes in India. In the West, we have seen that institutes are globally attracting students with SLD, and we already know through previous modules that it is because of the skills of the futures, the dyslexic thinking skills that is promoting it. We already know that the institutes in the West are globally attracting students with SLD, and in our previous module we discussed that this is because of the skill of the future, which is the dyslexic thinking. In institutes like MIT, it's so common that it's called the MIT disease, but if you talk about it within India, we only have a total of 7 neurodivergent students enrolled in IITs in 2023. We need to understand why is this happening, and only then can we be able to support and make sure that the numbers go high and high up. Let's quickly understand the struggles of transitioning to higher education institute. This will be from the perspective of the institute and also the students. Once we understand this in depth, it will really help us prepare better for the coming students with specific learning disabilities on campus. The very first process of entrance exam is something that we need to keep in mind. We know that our students more than often are not very well aware of what are the possible inclusive institutes around them that are offering the courses that they can take up. They're also not very prepared to be able to advocate for the needs which are within the boundaries of legal mandates of the institutions. Securing admissions. Students under disability more than often are reassessed despite having the UDID card. They have to renegotiate the support that they require, which is within the legal boundaries, but they have to sort of pull up a tug war to get those, and this can be hampering the confidence of a student who wants to transition to higher education institute. At an institutional level, more than often we realize that in spite of student having a UDID card or a disability certificate, the verification process becomes very tiresome for them. You will have the institute ask for a proof of disability again and again, which can not only be very insulting but overstimulating for a student that is trying to transition, become an independent being. Rejection to be able to take up certain courses during counseling is something that happens very often, and this could be because there is a lack of awareness in terms of what are the potential and the strengths of students with specific learning disability. The need-based assessment does not exist, so it becomes very difficult for a student even upon getting admission to have a successful learning journey on campus, because their need, the support system required by them, is not documented and communicated with other departments. Onboarding post admissions is something very crucial. You need to understand that lack of this individual support during admission process and lack of coordination with the different departments in terms of faculty, student life, examination cell, placement cell, makes it very difficult for the student to get the confidence required to be able to advocate for their needs. No provision of individualized education programs is something that they can hamper their learning journey at a large scale, so we need to push to create those for them. And lack of identification will also prevent a lot of students who might not be aware of the disability because it's invisible in nature and are struggling. You can, by having the right tools to understand if they're at risk or not, screen them for at risk, will always make their potential be unlocked multifolds to perform better on campus. In our next video, we are going to realize that how just by supporting a student in the right manner, an institute made sure that this child has a more successful learning journey and is able to participate in its full potential across the different co-curricular activities on campus.
When I was small, first standard, they found what problem I had. They couldn't tell which problem was that and what exactly that. So they had some idea that I had some problem in typing or reading or communicating the same thing in the exam also. So afterwards, in slow ages, like in fourth standard, they found that I had site SLD. I found it a little difficult that time, and when I went on the way of that, I got a way of reading different manners. So they found that problem and they tried to solve it. And more worse come worse, they told me to read in different manners, different writing skills. I had some handling issues also, so it compensated in that also. I did this course because I like it. Second is even though I have some problems, I knew I list aside all the problems. I wanted to pursue this because I already know something about this field. I have done my own research in my cycles. Since I had some interest on that, I joined this course. So my father told me that this is the right place you can improve your skills and your whatever you know now, it will be amplified by these programs. Like and then you can go for higher studies. It will give you more knowledge in your academics. Even if you have problems, they will show you by theoretical and practical also. So 50-50 will be there. I had some strategies. Like first, when I was in school, they told me to read, keep scales and read the line one by one. I used to jump from the third para to the sixth para, and then I used to read in a different manner, not be in contact with the book's lines also. There are so many lines in there, you have to read one by one, and I won't do that. Mentally, I used to read, vary some lines, and jump into some other lines. I used to write wrongly. When I came to college, they told me whatever you see in your real life is just exactly the college will teach in your notebooks. So you just put the same thing in YouTube and explore about that. Do some research on the subject what you read. I got a little liking about subject, ongoing hating. Like for example, if I had hating on chemistry also. My father told me take it as easy, put a table, do some different methods of reading it, put different colors for it. I tried to innovate new things like reading in different manners, writing it and writing in different manners. So I like it. Students who have this problem, I use one small thing. Don't take this as a very big problem and getting your head and busting it out. Then taking it very lightly. That is like I used to take these things very lightly and try to overcome it. Like second thing is you are unique. That's the most important thing, and you have to think uniquely than other people. I used to take each and every problem simply and try to solve it as far as possible with your own head, and it was very easy to solve.